Pinch the mountain until it turns to dust. So, this is about pinching whatever big task you have, like a huge chunk of salt, and keep taking away from it, pinch by pinch, until it becomes ground level dust. Do excuse the noise in the background. I couldn't find a quiet place to record today, but hopefully it's ignorable. So, pinch the mountain until it turns to dust. Whatever big task that you've been putting off or procrastinating, if you divide it into smaller tasks and divide and conquer, if you divide it into smaller tasks and really go at each small task, it makes it more easy to swallow. Imagine trying to gulp down the whole cake, but when you turn it into bite-sized pieces, by slicing it first and then cutting it with your fork or with your hand, then it becomes much easier to eat, right? So, any big task that you have, turn it into smaller tasks. And some of my classmates usually freak out when we're giving a big handout or a big book or something to read. And I'm like, it's really easy. You just find out the day before the deadline, how many days there are before the deadline. Then you find out how many hours you can dedicate per day. And then you demolish that pages by pages every day. Soon it won't seem like such a huge text to read. It just becomes this tiny book, basically, because you took it in bite-sized pieces. Likewise, when you have so many chores to do, don't look at it like I have 10 chores, oh my god. Look at it as like, okay, I have this and that to do. I could put a podcast or my favorite ASMR or my favorite story and just listen to that as I'm demolishing each chore. And that's how I made it so easy for me to wash toilets and clean kitchens without feeling like doom. Because washing toilets especially, I have a huge resistance to that. No matter how clean the toilet is before I wash it, I still feel a huge resistance to that because dirt, ew, gross. But when I decided that I would just look at it as a chore, that is breaking it down into, okay, washing the sink, scrubbing the toilet, washing the floors, washing the walls, instead of just looking at it as, oh my god, I gotta wash the whole toilet, oh my god, break it into bite-sized pieces. It looks like a mountain until you bring the shovel and shovel away one shovelful at a time, So pinch the mountain until it turns to dust. Pinch the mountain until it turns to dust. Basically, look at any problem this way. First, intend to overcome the problem. Second, be aware that the problem isn't bigger than you. Because in Islam, there's this saying that nobody shall be burdened by something bigger than they can bear. So anything that comes into your life, know that God knows that you can bear it 1000%. So that already removes half of the fear or the anxiety. Then break it down into small doable tasks, depending on the deadline of the chore or mountain or whatever you need to do that is so big, And that's just it. There's no magic to it, there's no shortcut to it, but if you enter the mental workings of it, you can make it start feeling less like a punishment and more like a mission that you need to complete in a game to gain XP, And sometimes when I am faced with such a big challenge like the upcoming exams, I start feeling like, oh my god, I wish I could be anywhere but here. I don't want to do those exams. I feel like it's all in or all out. What if I get a D? And I'm just like, oh my god, But then I'm like, okay, how can I turn the mountain of the exam mountain, into small bite-sized pinches that I can pinch at every day, until before I know it, the mountain is gone. I've pinched it to dust, and it's no longer this big looking scary mountain. It's now dust, basically. I can trample it on my feet, like under my feet, like sand. So I started studying at least an hour or two every day, listen to my lectures, because I tend to record during the lectures in class, so that my notes be more complete. And I read and read and read. And even hard topics, I don't see them as hard topics. I believe that my mind is like a sponge. If it encounters a grease that is hard to wash off, it just needs more liquid soap, And the liquid soap is me reading that thing over and over again. Even if at first it's difficult, reading it over and over again will eventually make the sponge very saturated to beat whatever grease, aka exam, is coming up, I hope I'm making sense. Because I'm trying to make this in a picturestic way as I was saying, I'm trying to make it in a picturestic way for visual thinkers like me to see. So I hope that made sense. And yeah, pinch the mountain until it turns to dust. Because as long as you have the zeal and the passion and the intention, nothing is bigger than you in your life. Peace out.